Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Skalzam, and I'm terribly sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Now he is in the Hindenburg, the tier 10 German cruiser. He is on the map trap in a 3-point domination game mode, and it's obviously a tier 10 battle. Quite a few tier 10s around. There is a carrier and there are a couple of destroyers. Now the carrier isn't a problem. The Hindenburg has amazing anti-air, and he also has a catapult fighter and defensive fire. So if the enemy carrier comes too close, there might be quite a few plane kills incoming. Now this game starts off rather slowly. The team said in chat they wanna go for Alpha and Bravo cap. There is a Benson here who is in the north trying to take Charlie, but I mean he's a destroyer and he should be able to retreat if necessary. And there is a first plane engagement here. Skalzam helped out a little bit and shot down one fighter. And I think he's trying to get closer to the fighters, but well, there was an island in the way before, and now he's just turning with the team, trying to help out taking the center. Now, the north was never much of a plan, so I'm guessing it's okay if they lose it. This Benson will pretty soon be forced to retreat, I guess, but he can delay the enemy a little bit. And well, I guess if all the enemy ships here retreat, maybe the Benson actually can do something up there. Now, down here at Point Alpha, seems to be still an enemy destroyer inside, but there are a few friendly ships. There are more enemies though, so probably not happening. Now Skalzam has quite a few ships here in range, I suppose, but you don't really wanna shoot in this position. If he fires, he will be detected, and then shells will rain upon him. And yep, that's not what you wanna happen in a cruiser. So I assume he will now go into the center here and just try to capture, stay in concealment. There is a Cyclone incoming, and that Cyclone may help. So we shall see about that. Unfortunately, he is now currently detected by planes, which means in the near future the enemy ships might start shooting at him. He got 2 additional plane kills, so at least that's nice. And since he's firing his guns, I guess most people haven't noticed that he's here yet, but so far not so many ships are targeting him. Now the friendly team managed to get the north, so that's nice. So job by the lone destroyer. It's not looking good here in the south. I think the friendly team is a bit outnumbered here. But if they get the center, it's not so bad. And in the cover of the Cyclone, those ships down here could also retreat if they manage to stay alive long enough. Now, Skalzam is somewhat broadside towards those enemies, but so far only one was aiming at him. Now 2 are aiming at him, and he is already turning, and he's trying to get his ship further north. Maybe find some cover behind the island. So far there weren't many good opportunities ships to shoot at. Now there might be an Iowa coming in here, but I think the Iowa is reversing. And here up in the north there's a juicy Hindenburg who might just foolishly sail around this island showing broadside. No, he is at least a little bit angled. Now some nice hits here. Unfortunately, there is a destroyer deploying smoke here in the north. And Skalzam is very careful. He doesn't want to advance too far. He wants to have some cover against the enemy Iowa. And I guess it's not looking good for the north. The enemies do have a destroyer and Hindenburg up there. The friendly destroyer is retreating to help out here in the middle. And at least down here in this Well, I mean, the ships aren't really disengaging, but they are in a somewhat safe position. The friendlies down here, so maybe they can make it until the Cyclone and then use it as a cover and come back towards the center. So the enemy team has started capturing Charlie, which is rather unsurprising. And there is an airstrike incoming. Looks like the enemy is going for it. Now Skalzam is using his defensive fire, his catapult fighter, but I mean the Des Moines was taken out by shells anyway. And it looks like the enemy carrier retreated here, but some plane kills. Now the Hindenburg is visible again, and the Hindenburg is showing broadside, and there is already an marking shooting here. Now let's see what Skalzam can do. Now the Hindenburg is turning away, but unless he can drop into concealment, I think this Hindenburg will go down. And there are some more planes incoming, I guess. Should I say there are some more plane kills incoming? Now, unfortunately, there is still a destroyer sitting at Point Charlie, so there might be torpedoes coming from that direction. Let's hope the Amagi is paying attention. And the enemy Hindenburg is going down soon. But there is really no way to catch the destroyer unless the destroyer lets himself be caught. And well, the Cyclone is starting as well, so I mean, Cyclone can be good and bad news. It forces a destroyer to close to 8 kilometers to you, and if they shoot at 8 kilometers, they are spotted. So unless they can like pop in and pop out by slowly sailing away from you, they'll have trouble shooting at you. Now Skalzam is trying to warn the Amagi to turn back, and the friendly team is in a bad position because they only have 1 capture point and they need 2, and the majority of the friendly forces is here, or quite a few are oriented towards Point Alpha, where most of the enemies are, but there is no way the friendlies are taking Point Alpha currently. So the only other option is here in the north, but they don't have anyone spotting the destroyer. They don't have hydro or radar or anything up here. They don't have friendly planes, so what are they going to do? This enemy destroyer can't just hold this point and harass the friendlies. Now, since the Amagi is insisting on taking this point, Skalzam decided to back him up. He is trying to go around this island and probably catch the destroyer off guard. I'm not sure how well that worked out, but he's trying to help the friendly team. And it's... I mean, it could be worth it if they get this point, but the enemy will just retake it. As soon as they sail away from this point, the enemy destroyer can just come in and take it again. And the friendly battleship will, in constant fear of torpedoes, isn't careful, and oh! An airstrike. So it's raining planes. So Skalzam kind of ambushed the enemy air group and worked out pretty nicely. Now we can see the enemy destroyer has deployed smoke, but he is behind the cap circle for whatever reason. So the friendly team managed to take this point, but yes, as soon as they are retreating, they are losing it again, but at least they stopped the bleeding of points for a little bit. Friendly team is quite behind ship-wise, so they are in bad spot, although I have to say, during a Cyclone, it's not that bad, because it's often small engagements or one-on-one engagements even. Because if you aren't sticking together, you can't support each other, since you can't see a ship. So the Cyclone can definitely hope for a comeback if the enemy team just wins a lot of small engagements. And look at that, there are more planes incoming, but they might have learned their lesson. They are steering away from the Hindenburg. And there is a Minotaur coming in. Minotaur is showing broadside, so Skalzam is switching to armor piercing. And some very nice citadels, nicely done. And that's exactly it. If the enemy team just comes in like one at a time, then the friendly team can turn this around, hopefully. If there wasn't a Cyclone, there would probably be like 5 ships who would shoot Skalzam right now. And there is the next customer, it's an Iowa. Unfortunately, Skalzam is currently broadside and he is turning in that direction, but there is also an island in front of him. Now this Iowa is coming towards him, so he can launch torpedoes in that direction. And it looks like the friendly Yamato started to move out. Well, he is helping Skalzam turn here, so he can now use the torpedo launcher on his other side as well. And since he is probably targeted by the Iowa, he will now turn his ship towards the enemy again and present a smaller target. But those looks like there is a torpedo hit and the Iowa should go down. Meanwhile, there are more plane kills incoming. I mean, you don't want to go with your planes near an Iowa and a Hindenburg and a Yamato. Unfortunately, the friendly Yamato is taken out, and we briefly saw here 2 enemy battleships coming this way, so this might be a bit problematic. Now, thankfully, the friendly Iowa here is pretty healthy still. Now, one enemy is aiming at him. I'm assuming it's the Bismarck. And since the Bismarck is sailing in this direction, he can launch his torpedoes already, and hopefully he will be able to get a hit or 2. Now, while Skalzam here is retreating in the north, keep in mind that there was at least a destroyer up there who's probably still lurking around somewhere at this side of the island. Now, there are 2 enemies aiming at Skalzam, so might be a destroyer somewhere in the vicinity. And I think that Bismarck is... yep, there is a torpedo hit. Now, still not looking so great for the friendly team, and also they are a little behind on capture points, and they don't have a good opportunity to get one. And yes, the enemy Yugumo is still somewhere around Charlie, so even if a friendly ship would take the time to go up there in the north and take the point, this Yugumo would just take it back. And the friendly team doesn't have the ships to spare to defend the point. And well, so getting less and less. Now the friendly destroyer is on the way up to the north, maybe he can make something happen. But it's the only destroyer left, and that means that destroyer isn't here helping defend the center. So it's up to the Amagi and to Skalzam to do something about that, but there are quite a few enemy ships left, and it looks like a few of those enemies are sticking together. Now the Montana is coming around and he is showing broadside. The Hindenburg has some good AP shells, so let's hope he gets a few decent hits in there. Unfortunately, the friendly Amagi went down, and there are also quite a few torpedoes incoming. Now there are 3 enemies aiming at him currently, but it might very well be enemies behind an island. And there are torpedoes coming from the front, there might be torpedoes coming from the back, and there is this island which limits his maneuvering, so he has to reverse here. And look at that, there are planes incoming as well. I think there is a plane drop happening and there isn't much he can do. There are the Yugomos torpedoes, I think, here on the left, and he took a torpedo from the carrier, I think. Now the Montana is almost down, but only almost, and there are still 3 enemies aiming at him, so we know the Montana and the Yugomo behind, but we don't know exactly who the third is, and this is very oh, I think I know who the third is. It's a Gearing. Almost full health Gearing who is joining the fray. Now he needs to deal with this Montana very far, and yes, the Montana is dealt with, so now he is launching some torpedoes towards the Gearing, because why not? He's also burning. He isn't repairing the fire immediately. With this low health, it might be an idea to just get rid of the fire now, but if he gets set on fire again, then it would take him down for sure. So he is waiting. He managed to deal with the Gearing. Now he gets rid of the fire, but he's down to 600 HP, and there are planes incoming, and there is still the Yugomo. Now he is immediately using defensive fire. He needs to stop this airdrop. And well, he's at 20 hit points. Almost to the heal. So the planes are moving in, but I mean, with defensive fire still running, this shouldn't happen. And he probably should use his heal right now. And he does. So wow, what a battle. Now suddenly it looks quite doable for the friendly team, but it's not won yet. Now, friendly team has 2 capture points right now. They're still a little behind by points. And also keep in mind that losing a ship reduces your points and gives the enemy points. If Skalzam would lose the engagement against the Hipper here, it would be pretty problematic. But it's not looking that way currently. And down goes the Hipper, so only the carrier is remaining. And I think the friendly team pulled through. Now there is an airstrike incoming. There is nothing here ready to help defend, unfortunately. And he immediately gets rid of the fire. He can't afford to lose more hit points. But if another strike like that happens, he's in trouble. There is no heal left, there's no defensive fire left. Well, at least there will be a catapult fighter, hopefully ready for the next engagement. So he's asking the friendly Benson if there is still a smoke remaining. And the Benson says none left, so keep in mind it's only about 1 minute until this game is over and the friendly team is currently winning. The only way the friendly team loses basically is if they lose ships. So the enemy carrier has to sink something. And well, the lone dive bomber just got taken out. I'm not sure if sinking 1 ship would do it. I think the friendly team is getting points fast enough. I think the carrier would have to sink 2 ships or contest a point. And the carrier is in no situation to contest a point. So I assume this is going to be a win. There are 40 seconds left. There are some dive bombers incoming. The catapult fighter is launching. I mean, the Hindenburg still has some very good anti-air. And there are only 4 bombers incoming. 3 now. So 3 bombs. Let's see what they can do. Well, I guess even less now. So they missed and the planes are gone. 10 seconds left, and in 10 seconds this will be a win. Now let's take a look at the results. Skalzam managed to get 3,782 base experience, so very nicely done by him, and an amazing battle. Was a bit slow in the beginning, but it was really exciting in the end, and most of the time the friendly team was behind, so I really enjoyed that. Skalzam earned himself Confederate Dreadnought Kraken and Devastating Strike. He scored 165,000 points of damage and managed to sink 6 enemy ships, so certainly very well played by him and was just a pleasure to watch. So I hope you enjoyed watching that as well, and I'll see you guys next time.